And now we're going to get to a insanely popular series, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of. The extremely popular, well-known boxing manga, Hajime no Ippo. And this is currently one of the longest running manga series of all time, clocking in at over 1,000 chapters. And I've read all of them. It starts off with a young boy named Ippo, Ippo Makinochi. And basically, he gets his ass kicked by a bunch of bullies, and he goes and runs into a buff as fuck dude who's like, hey, don't be a pussy, fucking basically kick these guys' ass. And he's like, I don't know how to. And he's like, well, fine, I'll fucking take you to a gym and, show you some shit. And then the guy's like, oh, okay, you really teach me? And so what he doesn't know is that this guy that's helping him is basically like the fucking, Mike Tyson of Japan. This guy is like basically ass kicker supreme. And the gym he's taking him to is taught by like, the fucking Larry Bird of like boxing. Like, this guy's like the old school #1 boxer or whatever else. And so he starts off basically being a super pussy and doesn't know how to fucking fight, doesn't know how to do anything. But they notice that when he punches a bag, he knocks the shit out of it, even though he doesn't even know how to punch that well. And he's not particularly buff or anything like that either. And so he gets into a fight with one of the other students at the gym. And that student is like, the boy genius. He's super fast and smart and cool and all that stuff. And he generally makes a fool out of Ippo. But Ippo does manage to take a shit ton of hits from him and not even get winded. And so that's when everybody's kind of like, so this guy can punch really hard and he can take a lot of hits. So that's really like natural constitution for a boxer. And then he gets one punch in on this guy and just knocks the shit out of him. And so that starts off a chain of motion of events where he slowly gets better and better and better, and eventually, rises up in the ranks and da-da-da and stuff like that. And it's a very, very long-running series. At this point, the characters have all aged something like probably 6 or 7 years. They've went through a bunch of, trials in their lives and stuff like that. There's new characters that have been added. Obviously younger people have came into the gym and now like he's teaching them and stuff like that. So it's a very long done series. It's much like Dragon Ball in that sense where, you start off with them being kids and they grow into adolescents and then adults and then they have kids and blah, blah, blah and stuff like that. So it's very well done in that. There is a lot of real boxing in it. There is a lot of real boxing that is in it, which doesn't make it like, oh, I'm going to use my ice shatter fist that will freeze your eyes or something. Obviously, some of the attacks are exaggerated a little bit for, visual entertainment value. Like, there's one ability that this guy has that he, like, basically punches you in the solar plexus and right underneath the lungs and stuff like that and in the gut. And the way he does it robs Ippo of his way to be able to breathe effectively. And this is displayed as him basically drowning underwater because he can't breathe, and the guy's a fisherman and stuff like that. And, so it's done like that. It's done in that whole sense, But a lot of the punches and a lot of the actual science within the punches is from real boxing, so that is interesting to read. And there's a lot of different characters in it, so I'm sure you can find one you can, like, identify with and like and so forth. And it's just a good read. It is a very lengthy read, but it is a good read. And when you get into it and they deliver that fucking blow, that final blow, that big attack, it really is well done. So, again, the series is called Hajime no Ippo, and you should check it out. And it's pretty damn good.